we can move on. Awesome job, Richie. So next up is Abdulrahman. What I could really say about Abdulrahman is sometimes he would miss class, but he would 100% make it up in office hours. He'd come to office hours anytime after class if he thought he was lacking behind. So like it really shows like he really was going to persevere throughout the entire time. Yeah, so everyone give it up for Abdulrahman. Abdulrahman, you ready?
Yeah, I am.
All
So,
right.
hi everyone. Hello everyone. I'm an incoming junior at Lynbrook High School in California, and my project is the phone-controlled robotic arm, which uses Bluetooth connection and an application made in Android through the MIT App Inventor to control the robotic arm. So, first of all, I'm going to show you a short demonstration of my robotic arm working. So, I think you guys can see it over here. And this is my application. So the first thing I'm going to do is connect it to Bluetooth, and it's connected, and move the claw of the robot. And these sliders move the exact position that the robot is going to go in. Yeah, so that was the end of my demonstration. And so like the part I'm going to be focusing on in my presentation are the servo motors and PWM. So this right here is a servo motor, as you can see. So a servo motor is like a small device that has an output shaft. And the shaft can be positioned to a specific angular position by sending the servo a coded signal. And as long as the coded signal exists in the output line of the code, the servo will maintain the angular position of the shaft. And if the coded signal changes, the angular position of the shaft also changes. And so the servo motor also has a digital control just like DC motors, but they can be converted to analog signals, which allows the servo to go to a specific angle, and it is able to do this through PWM. We are using the servo motors instead of DC motors because you can make sure that the servo motors can go to a specific angle as opposed to just running around as a motor like the DC motor, which will give us like a much more control on the robotic arm. So now I'm going to share my screen and show you a graph of how PWM exactly works. So over here, PWM basically means pulse width modulated control, which allows a digital signal to replace an analog voltage. It is a method of reducing the average power delivered by an electrical signal by effectively chopping it up into discrete parts. So this is the graph. And as you can see on the graph, there is this F, which stands for frequency. And so if I press play on the frequency, it's going to change the pulse at which the electric current is going through the motors. And then down here, when I press play on the A, it's the average voltage changes over here, as you can see. And in this graph, one refers to high voltage and zero refers to low voltage. Through PWM, we are able to take in voltage that is in between 0 and 1, which basically creates an infinite number of possibilities through which we can take in the power and control the servo motors. And so that's a demonstration of PWM. And one modification that I did is that I added an ultrasonic sensor to my robot. Making this project was that my ultrasonic sensor was not working correctly when I connected it to the ESP32, but it was working when I connected to the Arduino Uno. So in order to fix this problem, I went back to the code and I changed some things to make sure that all the code fits in with the ESP32 libraries. And then I checked the pins, and after that, it started to work again. And some lessons I learned through making this project was that I was sort of skeptical on how I would be able to code the robotic arm to make it work. But with some practice and debugging, I was able to complete the project. And through all of the fun and challenging experiences in Bootstraps, I was able to learn a lot of new things as well as enhance my computer science and engineering skills this summer. Thank you.
Awesome. Great job, Abdulrahman. Anyone have any questions for Abdulrahman? And let me just ask, what was your favorite part to work with? Did you like the ultrasonic sensor, using the app inventor, servos? What was your favorite part?
I think the main thing for me was making the application because it actually helped me like to actually move the arms like automatically without having to code it myself.
Yeah.
So